Addie's heart pounded. She could still feel the heat of Zade's gaze on her. They had been so close in that private room, the air thick with unspoken words and electric tension. Every glance, every breath seemed to carry a weight that neither of them could ignore. His words echoed in her mind, a mixture of warning and something darker. It was as if he was trying to tell her something important, something that could change everything. Yet he held back, leaving her in a state of confusion and unease. She couldn't deny the pull she felt towards him. It was dangerous, intoxicating. Every fiber of her being screamed to stay away, yet she found herself irresistibly drawn to him, like a moth to a flame. The intensity of his presence was overwhelming, making her question her own sanity. But there was an undeniable fear that tangled with the attraction, the fear of the unknown, of what he might be hiding, and of what she might discover if she delved too deep. It was a fear that kept her on edge, her heart racing with every encounter. He was a mystery, one she wasn't sure she wanted to solve. The allure of the unknown was powerful, but so was the dread of what lay beneath the surface. She wondered if she was ready to face the truths that might come to light. As they exited the room, Addie felt a chill despite the warmth of the manor. The grand halls, with their opulent decor and shadowy corners, seemed to whisper secrets of their own. She wrapped her arms around herself, trying to ward off the cold that seemed to seep into her bones. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of secrets lurking in every shadow. The manor, with its Gothic architecture and eerie silence, felt alive with unseen eyes. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of the candlelight made her heart skip a beat. Her great-grandmother's murder, the reason she was here, weighed heavily on her. The unsolved mystery had haunted her family for generations, and now it was her turn to uncover the truth. The photograph in her hand, a relic of the past, seemed to hold the answers she sought.
Zade?
A voice startled her. It was Marion, the butler, his face a stoic mask. He gestured down the hallway, his demeanor as unreadable as ever. She wondered what secrets he might be hiding, what he knew about her great-grandmother's fate.
Mr. Thorne will see you now.
Addie, with Zade a menacing presence at her side, followed. The hallway seemed to stretch endlessly before them, each step echoing in the silence. She could feel Zade's presence like a shadow, always there, always watching. As they approached the door, she took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever lay ahead. The answers she sought were within reach, but so were the dangers that came with them. She knew that once she crossed that threshold, there would be no turning back. Marion led them through the labyrinthine corridors of the manor. The walls seemed to close in on them, the dim light casting eerie shadows that danced and flickered, creating an almost surreal atmosphere. The manor was a maze, each turn and twist adding to the sense of disorientation. Each step Addie took seemed to echo the dread that coiled in her stomach. Her footsteps were hesitant, the sound reverberating off the walls, amplifying her anxiety. She could feel the weight of the manor's history pressing down on her, a palpable presence that seemed to whisper secrets of the past. The air was thick with the scent of old money and something else, something akin to decay. The opulence of the interiors was marred by a layer of dust and neglect, a stark reminder of the passage of time. The grandeur of the mansion was undeniable, but it was a grandeur that had seen better days. They reached a set of imposing double doors. The doors were ornately carved, their intricate designs telling stories of a bygone era. They stood as silent sentinels, guarding the secrets that lay beyond. Marion knocked lightly, then pushed them open, revealing a grand study. The doors creaked on their hinges, the sound echoing in the stillness. As they swung open, the room beyond was revealed in all its splendor. Addie's breath caught in her throat. The sight before her was overwhelming, a stark contrast to the decaying corridors they had just traversed. The study was a sanctuary of luxury and power. The room was a testament to opulence and power, with dark wood paneling, shelves overflowing with ancient books, and a roaring fire casting dancing shadows on the walls. The flickering flames added a warmth to the room, a stark contrast to the coldness of the manor's corridors. Behind a massive mahogany desk sat Mark Thorne, a man who seemed to embody the very essence of the imposing manor. His presence was commanding, his demeanor one of authority and control. His eyes, cold and calculating, settled on Addie. There was an intensity in his gaze, a scrutiny that made her feel exposed and vulnerable. It was as if he could see right through her, reading her every thought and emotion. Zade remained a step behind her, a silent guardian. His presence was a comfort, a reminder that she was not alone in this intimidating place. He was her anchor, a steadying force in the midst of uncertainty. Addie drew strength from his presence, even as a shiver of apprehension ran down her spine. The room, the man, the entire situation was overwhelming, but with Zade by her side, she felt a glimmer of hope. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever was to come, ready to face the challenges that lay ahead.
Ah, Addie, so good of you to finally join us.
Addie met his gaze, refusing to be intimidated.
Mr. Thorne, thank you for seeing me.
Of course, we have much to discuss.
His eyes flickered to Zade.
And who might this be?
This is Zade. He's here with me.
Mark's smile didn't reach his eyes.
I see.
The air in the room crackled with tension. Addie felt like a pawn in a game she didn't understand. Zade moved silently, positioning himself beside Addie, a silent protector. His presence was a tangible thing, a wave of heat against the chill of the manor. Addie drew strength from it, from the way his eyes never left her, watchful and alert. Mark Thorne watched their exchange, amusement flickering in his gaze. He was a predator, toying with his prey. Addie felt a surge of anger. She would not be underestimated. Not anymore. She met Mark's gaze head-on.
I'm here about my great-grandmother. I want to know what happened to her.
Patience, Addie. All in good time.
Usually,
Silent action.
Zade's hand brushed against hers, a touch so light it could have been mistaken for a breeze. It was a subtle gesture, almost imperceptible, but it sent a jolt of awareness through Addie. His touch was electric, a spark that ignited something deep within her, sending a shiver down her spine. She felt a connection, a magnetic pull that was both thrilling and terrifying. She looked up at him, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. His expression was unreadable, his dark eyes filled with secrets, a depth that seemed to hold 1,000 untold stories. Addie couldn't decipher the emotions swirling within them. Was it longing, fear, or something else entirely? Was it concern she saw, or something more possessive, more dangerous? The uncertainty was unsettling, a storm brewing just beneath the surface. Addie found herself drawn to him, like a moth to a flame, to the mystery that clung to him like a shroud, an enigma wrapped in shadows. But there was a part of her, a small voice whispering in the back of her mind that urged caution. It warned her of the dangers of getting too close. Zade was a puzzle she wasn't sure she wanted to solve, a riddle wrapped in an enigma, a man who could either be her salvation or her downfall. A puzzle that might just consume her whole, leaving nothing but shadows in its wake. The uncertainty gnawed at her, a constant reminder of the risks she was taking. As she stood at the precipice of her decision, Addie knew that whatever path she chose, it would change her life forever. The shadows of doubt loomed large, but so did the promise of something extraordinary. With a deep breath, she steeled herself, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The journey was uncertain, but the pull of the unknown was irresistible. And so, with a heart full of both fear and hope, Addie stepped forward into the shadows of doubt, ready to uncover the secrets that awaited her.
Your great-grandmother was a woman of many secrets.
Addie's breath caught. Was he finally going to reveal something of substance? The air crackled with anticipation. Zade remained silent, his presence a steady weight beside her.
Secrets that she took to her grave.
Addie's heart sank. It was like hitting a wall. She had come here seeking answers, and all she found were more riddles. Frustration welled up inside her.
You know more than you're letting on. Tell me what really happened to her.
Mark Thorne only smiled, a chillingly empty expression.
My dear Addie, you wound me. I assure you I'm being completely forthcoming.
Addie didn't believe him for a second. He was hiding something. She could feel it. This entire manor felt like a web of deceit, and she was caught right in the middle. Zade shifted beside her, his hand brushing against hers once more. The warmth of his touch grounded her, reminding her that she wasn't alone in this. As Mark continued to speak, Addie found her attention drawn to Zade. His usual stoic mask had slipped, revealing a flash of something dark and dangerous in his eyes. It was gone as quickly as it appeared, but it left Addie shaken. She had seen a glimpse of the predator beneath the surface, the darkness that lurked within him. It both terrified and intrigued her. What was he capable of? And what was he hiding? The questions swirled in her mind, creating a maelstrom of doubt and desire. Addie realized she was in over her head. This investigation, this connection with Zade, it was more than she bargained for. As the evening wore on, Addie found herself unable to shake the unsettling feeling that had settled upon her. The encounter with Mark Thorne, the unsettling glimpses into Zade's true nature, it all left her feeling vulnerable and exposed. She retired to her room, the weight of the manor's secrets pressing down on her. Sleep was a distant dream. Every creak of the floorboards, every sigh of the wind against the window pane sent shivers down her spine. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, hunted, and Zade, with his brooding silence and his dangerous aura, was both her protector and the source of her unease.